We're recording. All right. So, like I mentioned, today we are going to be talking about senior stylists, and we're going to dive a little bit into mapping. Some of you guys might already know this, but it's also really good to just give it a refresher, right? And then some of you guys, might be working towards senior stylist. So it's always just really good to, in my opinion, go back to basics and dive into each thing individually so you know where you stand, what you're working on, and where do you want to go next. So I'm going to share my screen. All right. Little mess here. All right. And excuse my sniffles. It's nothing bad. It's just pregnancy. So like I mentioned, we're going to do senior stylist training mapping. If you guys have any questions, please put it in the chat or in the comments if you're watching this on replay. And we'll be more than happy to help you out with that, all right? So what are we going to be learning about today? The meeting agenda is we're going to be talking about the importance of having a plan. And this is coming from the girl that never has a plan. But it's so important to have a plan, and we're going to be talking about why that's important, especially in our business. Even like I mentioned today, talking about, what some of these girls are like, oh my God, you're so organized. I'm like, yeah, not in my regular life, but when it comes to Color Street, I'm actually trying to be as best possible, like an organization, just because I know how important it is to have a plan. So we're going to dive into that in a little bit. We're also going to look into the requirements to reach team leader and the perks. Obviously, we have some leaders here that have already reached that, and that's why they're here as well, because they're here to help you guys understand that. And it's like I said, it's just so good to have a good refresher. And then we're going to talk about how to manage a team. And I know that's so scary because a lot of us, when we join this company, we join because we just love the product. That's it. We're hobbyists and we love it and it's just for fun. And then all of a sudden you have people joining your team and you're like, what am I going to do? So we're going to talk about a little bit of how to manage that team. So it's just an effortless, kind of easy process where you can duplicate, and they, whenever they have people join, it duplicates as well. And then we're going to dive into mapping. A quick overview of how I like to do mappings and how you should, start the practice of mapping, because it just really lays it all out for you. And then we're just going to do a super, super, super quick VO navigation. Most of you know how to do this, but it's just going to be a quick reminder of where you need to find things, so you can assist those on your team. All right. So for some reason that's okay. So why should you have a plan? Well, if you are thinking of promoting, if promoting is in the works for you, if that's something that you've been wanting to do, you need to know exactly what you need to get there. There's nothing worse, you guys, than the last day of the month realizing that there's a possibility of you ranking to the next level, and then you're like, oh my God, you're like scrambling around and just trying to figure out, well, this person's like $50 away and this and that. No, you want to know from the very beginning where you stand. If your plan is to promote, you definitely want to know where you stand at the beginning of the month so you can start making those plans. And then at the end of the month, you're not scrambling. You don't want to scramble around and try to figure out what do you need and what do you need to do. If you have that plan from the very beginning, right? And if you have that map and your list and you speak to those in your team, really at the end of the month, it's just kind of, I'm not saying it's a breeze, because hello, end of month anywhere in any business is crazy, right? But at least you know where you stand. I can give you guys a perfect example. Last month, I just knew that on the last day of the month that there was nothing else. I had already spoken to everybody I needed to speak to. I had already done all the planning, all the mapping and everything I had to do. And so by the beginning of the day, of the 31st, I was like, I'm not worried at the end of the month. I mean, that doesn't mean that I reached my rank, but I knew where I stood. I knew that that was that. I went to sleep fine, and you hear about these stories about people not being able to sleep, and it's because there's really no planning there. Of course, little surprises pop up, but you definitely don't want to scramble. You want to make sure that you have a plan. And then the other thing is that you want to make sure that others are in line, with your plan. So if other people in your downline don't have the goals and they don't align with yours, your plan to promote, it's much harder. All right. So let's say, just going to use Lisa as an example. Let's say it's, I don't know, April 27th. And I'm like, ooh, I want to make it to executive director. And I'm going to have Lisa needs to make it this for me in order for me to do that. But what if Lisa's not working towards that? Have I had a conversation with Lisa to see if she's also working her business and her downline? Are they all working together? Like we just can't assume. If I want to promote, right, and I want to help others in my downline to promote, I need to make sure that at the beginning of the month, I have that conversation. In the middle of the month, I have a check in. And if we need to regroup at the end of the month, we can do that as well. But for that, it takes planning again, because we don't want to scramble and we want to make sure that we are doing what we need to do. All right. So here's a really quick, I'm not going to go through the whole thing. Most of you guys already know what this is, but here's a quick overlook into our comp plan. So obviously we know that becoming a stylist is BQ, $300 or more on that month. In your retail commission, which is base and enhanced, you get 25 to 35%. And then your enroller bonus is E1, so the person that you've enrolled, right? You get 3% on that person, and then you get another 3% on your level 1. All right, we know that, very basic. Now, if you're watching this and you're a senior stylist, this is where you're at. You know that you have to be Q, right? Bonus qualify in order to get any bonus. You need 2 qualified legs, so that means you need 2 BQ legs. In your lifetime with Color Street, you need $2,000 in group volume, but it starts the day that you enrolled. That's your lifetime, okay? But anybody that you bring into your team, they're going to contribute to that lifetime group volume, which obviously is accumulative. And then for that specific month, you need $1,000 in group volume, with everybody in your downline. Same thing, retail commission doesn't change, your base and enhanced. The enroller bonus stays the same, 3% on your E1, which is your enroller. Where it changes when you become a senior stylist is that now you are going to receive 3% 2 levels deep, meaning on level 1, your line 1, and level 2, your line 2. Okay? Easy peasy. Now, if you're a senior stylist, what's your next level? It's team leader. So let's dive a little bit into that and see what are the benefits there. You can actually see that, you need, here are the requirements for you to become a team leader. You must be Q. We talk about the importance of always be Qing, right? And I did talk about this in my team talk yesterday. Be Qing, and a lot of people have this misconception that BQ, you should only BQ when you have people under you because that's the only way that's going to benefit you. And to me, that's absolutely incorrect. BQing sets a standard for yourself, right? So it sets a standard for yourself. There's other bonuses that you can qualify within that month, meaning as a team, we can give an incentives for bonus qualifying. So you can miss out on that. As a company, they give incentives for bonus qualifying. You can miss out on that. So it's not just if you have people under you. If you have people under you, then I'm like, hello, absolutely. You're leaving money on the table. Even if it's $20, I don't care. You're still leaving basically free money on the table. So to me, like BQ is just a standard practice that we should all have. But additionally to that, you must have a senior stylist leg. All right. So a BQ and then 2 BQs under that. And you already know the requirements for that, right? And then you must also have additionally to that 2 separate BQ legs. On top of that, you need 5,000 in lifetime group volume, all right, accumulative, and 2,500 in cap GV. And just so you understand real quick what cap GV is the monthly group volume capped by the 50% rule. What does that mean? That no more than 50% of cap GV can come from one leg. All right. I know this is confusing. Yeah, this is confusing, but this is why we're talking about it. And again, any questions, please let me know. No question is stupid. All right. But yes, what it means is basically, just to kind of give it to you guys in a simple matter, it means that if your volume is at, I don't know, $3,000, 1,500, all right, needs to come from this leg, and 1,500 needs to come from the rest of your legs. Does that make sense? If you're 3,000 and 2,500 is coming just from this one leg, your capped GV is going to be off center. It's not going to be where you want it to be. So it needs to be balanced. All right. I hope that makes sense. And if you guys need a little bit more, a little more clarification on that, please let me know in the chat or in the comments, and, we'll get that answered. But here's the thing, what you're looking at right here, that's just the minimum. That's just the bare minimum. So in order for you to become a team leader, and a lot of people might just be like, oh my God, team leader just seems so far away. I remember thinking when I joined, like, team leader, poof, I'm never going to make it there. Because I used to think, oh, I just need to recruit so many people and I have to have a huge team. You actually don't. You need 6 people, including yourself. 6 working people, obviously, right? But if you have a strong team where, this line can go all the way down, you can have 6 people on one side, you can actually have a senior stylist here and another senior stylist here. Regardless of what it is, the bare minimum for team leader is 6 working people, including yourself. All right. Does that make sense? And then that's when you start hitting the capped GV. You don't deal with that in senior stylist. And that's why I thought it was important for me to bring it here in team leader, because you need to realize that 50% of your group volume can't come from, like, no more than 50% can come from one specific leg. It needs to be distributed or balanced. Okay. Now, what are the perks of becoming a team leader? Why would you want to sit here and start kind of thinking, all right, should I become a team leader? Is that something that I want to have, on my wish list or in my bucket list? What are the perks of becoming a team leader? Well, one of my favorite perks is, I call it the magic wand, all right? And it's called the new stylist placement. So when you become a team leader, right? So you become a team leader in April. That's when you qualified. The following month in May, it's when you're going to get this little magic wand. And what it is that you now have the ability to move your new recruits within their first 35 days under another stylist in your downline to help promote leaders and yourself. All right. So let's say I recruited a new girl, and I knew that Susan needed another BQ stylist in order for her to become director and me become executive director. I am able to move that person under Susan so Susan can become a director, even though she's already a director. But you guys get what I'm saying? For her to become a director, so then I can become a executive. So not only am I helping her, but I'm also helping myself. All right. So that's why that magic wand is so important, because as you recruit more people, you're able to do strategic placing So you can help your downline and yourself. Um, Lara said it doesn't mean that someone else will be your upline. You will still be, yes, and we're going to be talking about that in a second. Because that's such a good point. I am a number one believer that when you do those placements, you have to have a conversation with not only the um the person you're going to move them under, but also that one new stylist. And you need to, get those, I call it like relationship, where, hey, Laura, I'm not just giving you to Susan. Now the three of us can work together. And I explained to her how it works. So that's a good point, Laura. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. The importance about communication, but that's why I love that magic wand, because we're able to do that. Another perk is the commission increase. Like, let's be real. Yes, we all started as hobbyists. We are all doing it for fun. But if we are here and we have the ability to make extra cash, why not? You know, if you're having fun, if you're selling nails, if you're making new connections and people are joining your team, why not make as much money as possible, right? And I always tell this to everybody, like, I will never get tired of telling my story, because a lot of people join a business to make money. Mine was completely different. I just wanted to join because I wanted the discount. And then when I started learning about the potential, right, and making money, I was like, oh, wait a second. You mean that if I put a little bit more effort and help my downlines, I'm going to make more money? Okay, so let's do it. And so that's another perk about becoming a team leader. Now, if you guys saw the previous slide with the commission, not the commission, with the comp plan. Now, not only do you earn 3% on your enrollees, right? The people that you enroll, you earn 3%. You also earn an additional 3% on your enrollees enrolling. So if I enrolled Susan and Susan enrolled Laura, I'm getting a 3% enrollee bonus from Susan, but I'm also getting a 3% enrollee bonus from Laura. So that's pretty awesome. That's just additional 3% that I'm getting. On top of that, we get 3% on your level one. So I get 3% on Susan, right? So technically I'm getting 6% on Susan. Then I get a level two, 3%. So I'm technically getting 6% on Laura. And if Laura has anybody under her as a team leader, I also get an additional 3% on those people. So obviously, now that you're in a higher rank, you're now earning deeper into the compensation plan. All right. Lastly, another really good, this was really good. I forgot who messaged me the other day, and they were like, oh my God, I placed the wrong order in the wrong party link. And so that person was like, I need a an answer today, because my hostess needs to close it today. And if I send an email, I'm not going to get the response today. Well, when you become a team leader, you now get the direct chat with home office. All right. And literally, you guys, I love it because it's very quick. Like, it takes minutes, not even. I ask my questions, and within minutes somebody answers back, and it's a live chat. And they were able to tell me right there and then, I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do. And I was able to go back to the stylist and tell her, I'm sorry, there's nothing you can do about it. So, as a leader, to me, that's like a perk, because that's just an extra perk, that you are able to solve problems right there and then. We live in an Amazon Prime world where we want things quick, right? So when you become a team leader, you have the ability now to have these direct conversations, solve problems right away, and just plain and simply ask questions. Like, sometimes I'm looking for something in the resources and I just can't find it. Guess what? I just go into the direct chat. I ask the question, they answer it for me, bada boom. We're good. I don't have to worry about it. All right. So let's talk now about managing a team. And this is scary. It's scary. Like I mentioned earlier, there, no, I don't think there's that many people that are born leaders. Like a lot of people will tell me, and this is a true story, Janet, I just can't do what you do. I'm like, hello, I didn't even know I could do this. I learned the skill, and unfortunately for me, I didn't have anybody to teach me. I just started doing research and I started learning from other places, and that's how I feel like I found my calling. I just love having a team. I love managing. I love helping people. I just love this. And you might not have that same passion as me. Totally okay. Totally understood. Like I completely understand. But there's simple ways for you to manage a team, no matter the size, where you start adding these steps, right? Or tips. I call it steps, but really they're more like tips. If you start adding these tips into your business and into your team, it will get much easier. And then once they replicate it and your team grows to 1,000 people, if you set those standards from the beginning, mostly everybody will follow. Mostly. There's always those people that just kind of go their own way, and that's okay too. But for me, the tip number one, right, or the step number one that you should do with your team, whether, by the way, you guys, whether it's a team of 1 or a team of 10 or a team of 1,000, it does not matter. Don't sit here right now and say, well, I only have 1 person under me. That's totally okay. You still have a team. That's a team. Or maybe you did have somebody and you lost and right now it's just you. That's okay too. Now you're learning what to do with the next people that are coming. When I started, I enrolled a bunch of people and I didn't know how to manage them and I lost them. But you know what? You live and you learn. So here's my little tip, right? Or step 1 that I recommend. Share your goals, your vision, and your values with your team. Why is this important? Because they know where you stand. And I don't know about you guys, but I am a person of honesty. If you talk to me with honesty and you tell me straight up what's going on, I will work for you. I will work for you. I will work for myself, and we will work together. Right? So you definitely want to share your goals and say, listen, this is my business. I love it. I want to become this. What are your goals? What do you want to do? This is my vision. I feel like we can be an awesome team and work together and do this and go to conference next year. My values. I will not cheat my way through Color Street. I like to do it this way. This is how I treat my VIPs. This is how I treat my clientele. This is how I treat people. So everybody has different goals, visions, and values, right? But it's important to share those with your team. But at the same time, ask them about their goals and see if they align with yours. Like I can give you guys an example of one of my other downlines. Her name is Cindy. Cindy, straight up from the beginning, said, Janet, I'm only joining because I want a discount. I am never going to sell. I said, okay, not a problem. I included Cindy in everything that I did, but I never had conversations with Cindy about selling because I knew that that's not what she wanted. Guess what? As time went on, she started selling. And so then when we talked about it again, she said, yes, I want to sell. I love it, but I will not enroll. I do not want to have a team. Awesome. So then I started talking to Cindy about different sales strategies because now her goal about selling aligned with mine as well. And I know that every month I'm going to count, on a BQ with Cindy because that's her goal. It aligns with mine and we work on it together. Now, my goal is also to build other leaders, but I know that I'm not going to have a conversation with Cindy about becoming a leader if that's not what she wants to do. You see what I'm saying? If time comes and she tells me, hey, that's what I want to do, then we will have that conversation. Now, I never leave Cindy outside of anything that I do as a team. I don't set her aside. I just know that when I'm having those one on one conversations with her, I am not talking about things that don't align. All right. Next step or second tip, you definitely want to set up a time to share the first steps when joining. What has worked for you and where they can find more information. I actually had a conversation with somebody from home office, and they mentioned that they did like a questionnaire, I guess, for new stylists. And they said the number one problem the stylists had when they joined was that there was no proper onboarding. And onboarding looks to different ways to a bunch of people, But if you at least give them the first steps and say, hey, Susan, I'm so happy you joined Color Street. I don't want you to get overwhelmed, but here is this checklist, or for example, I don't know if most of you guys know this, but I have a launch your business group on Facebook where it literally guides everybody step by step. You can either say, I can add you there and you can do it, or you can look at it yourself and say, all right, Susan, so we're going to deal with step number 1. This is what you should do. You should text 33233 Color Street to get notifications. You can set up your party link. That's really important. It's also important to say what has worked for you and say, listen, what's worked for me is doing a launch party. What do you think about doing a launch party? So we can get your friends and family hooked on Color Street. Or I started a VIP right away. So you need to see what has worked for you and you're going to share that with her. Because remember, the likelihood of Susan, and this is a different Susan, right? This is my example, Susan. If Susan had never done direct sales or has never been in this type of environment, it could be very, very overwhelming. So you should really kind of hold her hand at the beginning. And I get it, we're all so busy, but take your time to at least every day or every 2 days, hold her hands through the process, get her started, and show her where she can find that information. And why do I say it's important to show them? Because, for example, like I don't have an issue, like I have stylists on almost daily asking me, where can I find this? Where can I find that? And I don't have an issue with that. But the truth is, we're all busy, right? So if we start showing our stylists from the very beginning, hey, if you need any type of resource, go here. Hey, if you need to learn about nail bars, go here. If you need to see our team page, go here, right? So when they start enrolling people, it becomes a practice for them as well. And they say, okay, let me onboard them. Let me tell them what worked for me and let me show them where they can find more information. Because we're trying to build self-sufficient people, right? Like a lot of us, our kids are grown. Some of us have little babies. A lot of us work full time. Like we don't have the time to constantly be after people, right? But if we build a strong foundation from the very beginning, and we kind of show them like, hey, if you enroll people, just follow these same steps, the process becomes much easier. I wish I would have had a conversation like this at the beginning of my Color Street journey. I think it would have been much easier for me. But this is why you guys are here to learn more about that. All right, and then lastly, and step 3, start working hand in hand with those who show an interest in team building, nail bars, VIP groups, and set goals together. And this goes back to my number 1 step. That doesn't mean that those that don't want to build a team or that don't want to do certain things, you're going to leave them aside. No. But if you know that Susan wants to start doing nail bars, say, okay, well, you know what? Janet, she's one of our uplines. She just created an awesome nail bar boot camp. You should go watch it. But if Cindy says, I don't feel like doing nail bars, you're not going to push Cindy into doing a nail bar. So it's just kind of that process of don't push people to do what they don't want to do, but show them there's options. And whoever does want to do it, work with them side by side, hand by hand, and say, okay, this is what you should do. And to me, once you start doing this, these simple steps, right, then you can build on more. But this is a good foundation to start managing your team. All right. Some of you would like to have your own team page. It's overwhelming. Some of you just want to have a chat. That's totally okay. Like, I actually have a chat for just my direct downlines and my direct leaders. And anytime I want to send them some information outside of Team Nails and Babes, because you guys know Team Nails and Babes is huge, I send them that information to those chats. I don't overwhelm them. You guys know, the ones that are in my chat know that I'll message once a week. If there's a launch that week, maybe you'll get a little bit more active, but I do once a week so they know that I am in touch with them and I'm there for them and they can message me whenever they want. Okay. So those are my recommendations there. All right, so now we're going to look into maps. And these maps, this one's a little bit of an old school map. I know Color Street, like Home Office, just gave us, I think they did it after I did this. I don't even remember, but they gave us like an updated official mapping. I have uploaded those, or I will upload those into the team files. But these, like this old school one, is already in the team files if you want to find it. All right, so let's just kind of look at it real quick. The maps, this is a senior stylist map. Here, if you recruit people, you put here stylist to move. Obviously, if you're at a senior stylist level, you don't have the ability to move people, all right? But if you're at a team leader level and you're trying to build a senior stylist, you can use this section right here to put the name of the person and their personal volume, okay? And I thought I had writing there. I get, oh, well, maybe it's because the other thing. Right here is also what you need to qualify for senior stylist, or what your downline needs for senior stylist. And then this is what I like to do. So for example, if you're trying to build a senior stylist, right? And you put you, or the person that you're trying to build it for, I like to put the number where they're at, their PV. All right. Once they become BQ'd, I like to highlight them. I like to highlight them. I don't specifically highlight them if they haven't BQ'd, because then the map gets kind of ugly. But I literally just print this out, get pen and paper, and that's how I start working my map. I start saying, okay, well, I have Linda, and Linda's at 570. She's BQ'd. She's good to go. Here, I need to work with Sandra. And so, for example, once I BQ'd, I'll check myself and say, okay, BQ'd. Once my group volume has reached 1,000, obviously between us two, it's reached 1,000. Awesome. Lifetime GV, I might had volume from the month before, so I've already reached it. Awesome. And I have one BQ stylist. Awesome. So in this section down here, I like to write notes for myself. So talk to Sandra on strategies to get to the next level. Oh, sorry. I'm trying to like remove this thing in the bottom so I can see better, and I can't. Talk to Sandra on sales strategies to get her to the next $150. She needs to be cute. So again, this map, I'm probably doing it at the middle of the month, so I'll start it at the beginning. I'll write the names. I do everything in pencil because if I need to, erase people, I can. But I'll say, okay, so now let's say I'm doing this on the 15th of the month, right? So I know that within the next day or so, I need to speak to Sandra and say, hey, Sandra, your $150. Tell me, what are you doing? And she tells you, well, I've done it all and I just don't know what else to do. Okay, have you tried a bulk sale? Have you tried an album sale? Talk to them about different strategies that maybe she has not thought about to get her to those 150. There's so you guys know this. There's so many different strategies out there that maybe she's never tried in her VIP group, or maybe she's never used the email blast in her virtual office, or maybe she's never done a pre-order and there's a new collection coming out, a new mini collection coming out, so look around the 10th to the 15th of the month and say, hey, let's strategize together. Okay, we're not leaving. It's not like all of a sudden is the 28th or the 29th of the month and you're like, hey, how are you going to get those 150? No, like that just doesn't work like that. We know it. Is it possible? Yes, but is it how you want to run your business and give stress to people under your downline? Absolutely not. And then just because Linda made it to BQ doesn't mean you're just going to leave her to the side like, oh, she's BQ'd, whatever. No, you know that there's enhanced commission and she's only $30 away. Talk to Linda and say, hey, girl, you are only $30 away for enhanced commission, which you're going to get an additional 3%. How, like, are you doing anything special to get those $30? I did this with one of my direct enrollees. She was like 500 and something dollars. It's almost like actually, I think it's the same situation, and that's why I wrote that number. She was only $30 away, and she literally said to me, oh, there's enhanced commission. And I was like, whoa, I talk about this all the time, but yes, there's enhanced commission. And she was like, oh, so I only need $30 and I get 3% more. I was like, yeah. So she worked her business into her VIP and she got actually way more. I think she ended up that month with like over $800 in sales just because I had that conversation with her right in the middle of the month and say, you're doing amazing. Congrats on BQing 570. Wow. If you sell 30 more dollars, you're actually going to get a commission. So it's pretty awesome to have those conversations because you just never know, like you never know how you can change the whole game. And yeah, I saw Laura said that she has them, and yeah, they're also in the files in the team. So, you guys can print those as well. So let's say you're trying to become a team leader, right? Or you have already become a team leader and you're just trying to maintain. Because there's always a situation where we all start at zero. And I know a lot of people get really disturbed by it. Do not. Even the top leaders start at zero every single month. Just gives us a new opportunity to work our business. I know it can be frustrating, but again, if you have a plan and you kind of work that plan throughout the month, then it's not that frustrating. It's just starting over, right? But gives you a new opportunity. So if you're trying to become a team leader or you have already become a team leader, this is what the map looks like. And this is why I said that if you have anybody to move, this is where you would put them. You would put their name and you would put their PV. So well, these two people are BQ'd. I know that I can move them somewhere. Okay. So for this example, I have here Nicole. She hasn't BQ'd. Linda and Sandra, right? So let's say Sandra is my top seller. She sells $1,000 every single month. However, when I had the conversation with her, if she wanted to become a senior stylist, she said to me, I don't want to do a team. I just want to sell. I do this for fun. Selling is my jam. I don't want to have a team. So, and if I speak to Linda, Linda works the business. She BQs. She makes, barely makes it to the 300, but, she makes it. But she's like, Janet, I want to build a team. I want to make at least another $500 a month. Who do you think I'm going to move these two people to? Am I going to move them to Sandra, who is a top seller and has the lifetime volume, or Linda that has to work a little harder to get that lifetime volume or, to get that 300, but is willing to work on having a team? Well, strategically, I'm going to move her under Linda because I know that once I move those people to Linda, right? And let's say Linda BQ'd one, or enrolled one person, and all I have to do is move Sarah, we are working together because her goals align with mine and we're going to work together. I'm not going to leave Sandra to the side, but maybe it's just not the time right now for her to become a senior stylist because that's just not what she wants to do. So that happens a lot. Just because somebody's a top seller does not mean that they want to also have a team. So again, it just goes back to the beginning. Planning, printing this out or having it in your computer and having your plan and then talking to these people individually to see where they're at and what you want to do. And then same thing, if I'm going to move Sarah and Emily under Linda, I'm going to have a conversation with Linda and I'm going to say, hey, Linda, you want to build a team? Awesome. So I'm going to move Sarah and Emily. Not only is it going to help you to become a senior stylist, but it's also going to help me become a team leader. All right. And then you're going to talk to Sarah and Emily, and you're going to explain to Sarah and Emily, hey, Sarah and Emily, or hi, Sarah, and then hi, Emily, separately. So you're doing amazing. Your first month, wow, within your first 35 days, you're already sold $450. So one of the perks of becoming a team leader is that I am able to move people under other stylists, not only to help them promote, but also help me in the future. This is an amazing tool that once you reach team leader, you can have as well. And in the future, when we have more conversations about building team, I can move people under you as well. No worries. I'm still going to be your sponsor. I'm going to still help you all the way through, but I am going to connect you with Linda because she's going to be another line of support. If you have any questions, you can always ask me. You can ask her, ask us together, and we'll be here for you. All right. So that's really important to do it at the beginning. Now we have Nicole. Nicole's been struggling a little bit and she needs to get to BQ. Okay. Well, let's talk to Nicole. Oh, sorry. Oh, I'll read the things after, sorry, so I don't get confused. We're gonna talk to Nicole because she needs $201 to get to BQ. So see where she's at, see what's her plan, and strategize for a nail bar or for whatever it is. Because we also don't want to assume, like, just because a person, it's, I don't know, the 15th, 20th of the month and they haven't BQ'd, or they're only at, $9 or whatever the situation is, speak to her and say, hey, what's going on? And then she says, I've tried it all, give her ideas. Or she says, I haven't really tried anything. Same, give her ideas, but you'll know how to work with that, okay? All right, and like I said, these are available. And if you guys need a little bit more help with this, please let us know. I know it could be a little overwhelming, but once you kind of sit there and look at the bigger picture and dissect it little by little in sections, you'll understand it a lot more. So I always recommend to go back into this and kind of understand it. It kind of looks a little weird, but when you look at it in a map, how we looked at it here, it makes a lot more sense, okay? So my recommendation is to print these out. If you are a senior stylist and are trying to become a team leader, download the team leader one and download a senior stylist one, because then you're going to work on the senior stylist on whoever you need for senior stylist, and obviously on your team leader one, and so on and so forth. Okay. All right. So that's that for that. Do you, like, by the people that are here, show of hand, does anybody need me to show them the VO? I think most of us here already understand the VO, right? Right? Okay. So I'm going to